Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Banker faces heat for unfulfilled XRP to $500 forecast. Well. Let's get into this. So, funnily enough, before I even found this article, I was on X recently today, and I actually saw the actual post. And as soon as I read it, because the reason why I saw it is because Rector had basically reposted it and said the amount of views that it got, because I think it was like 1.8 million views. And I was like, okay. So, I went into the post and read it. And as soon as I read it, I was just like, I don't smoke, but I'd love whatever she's smoking because she's really on some good stuff. Like, I read it and I was just like, man, here we go. And yeah, so I've definitely thought I'd go through this because this is the kind of stuff when, like, I do this channel, right? And I've always said this to you guys. I'm always trying to be upfront with you guys. I'm not trying to spin you guys a line or anything like that. I'm always trying to be straight up and honest with you guys. And I look at all this stuff and I see what some of these people put out there and just how much traction it gets. And I'm just like, man, it's so frustrating because I don't know if she's done this just to gain attention, but it really did. Like, it caught absolute fire. And so, like, I look at my channel here trying to just tell you guys, like, hey, this is realistic. I'll tell you why. And obviously people don't really want to hear this kind of stuff. Like, yes, you've got the few, down to earth people, but for the most part, it doesn't really gain the same kind of traction. So obviously it is a little bit frustrating, but at the end of the day, I know I'm on the right side of history when it comes to this, and I know I can sleep at night. Like, I'd much rather know I'm being honest with you guys and telling you what I think is real, because the whole reason why I started this channel in the first place was because of all of the misinformation I see about XRP. And when I was once a naive investor, I didn't know that much, and so I'm trying to be that guy and that voice of reason for you guys who can hopefully take this information in and have a bit more of a grounded approach to XRP. And so I've definitely taken some notes here, and I'll go to the actual the post, because as soon as I read it, I thought I'm going to bookmark this because I'm definitely doing a video on it. It is a very long post. First I was going to read through the whole thing and then break it down, but I've just taken some bullet points here because it is a very long post. But I'm going to just tell you before we even get started. I'm going to break down exactly why a lot of this is just, it's a lot of nonsense, to be completely honest. And this is where it's difficult, right? Because I don't know what her intention is. Like, did she really believe what she's saying here, or did she just want to get attention? Because it got 1.8 million views, so it definitely got attention, and it's got her a lot of recognition. And the funny thing is, she actually works for a bank. So this is where she's got a bit of credibility to her name when she talks in regards to this, right? So it adds to what she's saying. Like, it adds a bit more weight and a bit more credence, right? So is she just doing this for notoriety, or does she genuinely believe this? Because I can be honest with you now, and I can say I know people who really believe a lot of the stuff of what she's saying. But when I just break it down now, it's so easy to like debunk a lot of what's being said. So I really don't know what this was. I don't know if this was just an intent of getting claim to fame, or if it was just something that she genuinely believed. But there's a lot of holes in this, to be honest with you, and I will poke them in a moment. So I'll be real with you. When I read this, the first thing I thought is, she's definitely very articulate and eloquent. Like, she knows how to write. And I'm not saying that like what she's writing is just like complete nonsense. Like, the way she's writing good stuff, but it's just so easy to like see the flaws in it. So it's like, it sounds good. And I think this is the thing, like, for the people who maybe are not as well versed and don't know like XRP that well and stuff, it might be a lot easier to like pull the wool over their eyes because they're just hearing everything they want to hear. It all just sounds good. So it's a lot easier to get people on board with this stuff. But once you start to really get into it, it's like a lot of this doesn't really make sense. So let's get into it properly. So as I say, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to go into certain aspects of this, and I'll tell you like where my rebuttals are in regards to this. Okay. Okay, let's get into this. So this is by Shannon Thorpe, okay, on X. And one of the first things she says is, what we're talking about with XRP, with the price potential when like, true utility kicks in and stuff like that, right? Okay, so one of the first things she's talking about is when we're all talking about XRP and the way we're trying to like base where it can go and stuff like that, the problem that we have is that we're basing it on XRP being a security. And she said, why would we continue to make price predictions based on a security in this space? And she's saying, like XRP isn't a security. Now, at the time when she actually made this post, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit was still ongoing. But we all knew that XRP isn't a security. We all, that was quite obvious. So that's fair enough. But the first thing I've got here is in regards to her saying, XRP is not a security. Why would we continue to make price predictions based on securities in this space? I don't even get what the logic is in what she's saying there. What difference does it make whether it's a security or whether it's a crypto? It's really about its utility. Whether it's a security or whether it's a crypto, but literally just makes no difference. It's what the crypto or the technology or the security can do. That's what's going to depend on its value, not whether it's a security or not. Like, who have you heard make any kind of price prediction saying, well, it's a security, so this is going to make it go higher in price, or it's a security, so it will go lower in price? No one has ever said that. So even when she brought that up, I'm like, well, why are you even saying that? Like, what relevance has that got to anything? So straight away, I'm a bit like, okay, that's odd. I don't really know what you're saying that for. And then we get into like one of the things that she mentions in regards to the 9 days of testing into FedNow with the banks. Now, you can go back on my channel and I did a video as to why FedNow wasn't going to explode XRP's price. It was never going to explode XRP's price. So as soon as I see this, I'm like, okay, so she's clearly got these kind of like pie in the sky kind of theories about XRP. She thinks FedNow is something that's going to like aid in XRP's adoption and price. No, it's not. FedNow doesn't need to use XRP whatsoever. And that's why FedNow didn't help its price when it was launched. And it won't in the future because FedNow is domestic, not international. XRP is beneficial for cross-border payments, not domestic payments. There's no point using a bridge currency to bridge dollars to dollars. That doesn't make sense. You're not going to use it for that. So FedNow is not going to help XRP whatsoever. So straight away, I'm seeing two things now, and I'm like, well, first thing didn't even really make sense. I don't even know why you're saying that. And the second thing, you're talking about something where, yes, you've had people talking about this kind of thing, but people who like research and understand what XRP does knows that that was not going to make any impact on XRP whatsoever. So I'm straight away like, okay, I can see where we're going with this already. So that was my second thing. FedNow was never going to help XRP. So she's mentioning that, but that's what she believes, but that was never going to be a beneficial factor for XRP anyway. Okay, so the next thing we get to is she says, okay, if she was a bank wanting to send a 750 million transfer at an XRP price of $1, this is roughly 10% of all the bank's XRP. Okay, so before we even go any further, who's to say that the bank is going to be holding XRP? Banks do not have to hold XRP if they don't want to. They can still use XRP, but they can just use it through RippleNet. So if you use RippleNet and you still want to use XRP, you can basically use RippleNet and they have an algorithm which will basically seek the best liquidity source of XRP and then utilize that to make the transfer. So the bank doesn't actually have to hold XRP whatsoever. So this is another thing that a lot of people get misconstrued. They think all the banks are going to hold XRP. Definitely. That's not the case. Like, they don't have to if they don't want to. They can still use RippleNet and still use XRP without having to hold XRP. Now, that's not to say that they won't, but it's not to say that they will either. A lot of people talk in absolute, saying the banks are going to hold it. No, that's not a definite thing. It's really not. So straight away, again, we're talking about, 10% of the bank's XRP. Who's to say they're holding XRP? Who's to even say that that's going to be the factor in that case? There might be one bank who holds XRP. There might be another who don't. Like, it really is going to come down to like the company's preference. So straight away, again, we're talking about things that are not even factually true. They're not even like a guarantee. We're talking absolutes on things that are not even guaranteed. Then the next thing she says is that no one wants to break a $750 million transfer into like $750,000, $1,000 transactions, because that's going to also include the burn rate. Now, okay, that is true, that's going to have a burn rate, but we already know the burn rate is very minimal. So the burn rate isn't really like that big of a deal, to be honest. Like, it's not going to be that much of an issue. And if you think about how banks are spending money right now, for like what they spend for like cross-border transfers and stuff like that, like, this is nothing compared to what they've been paying in the past. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not to say that they're going to want to do this, because that's still a hassle. But I'm just saying, like, the way she's explaining it, it doesn't really add up. It doesn't really make sense. Like, what she's saying is, it's a fair point in general, but to say regarding the burn rate being like one of the factors, no, not really, because the burn rate is so small. So that doesn't really add any credibility to it. So I agree with it in one part, but not the whole part. So again, yeah, not 100% with that either. Okay, we then move to her saying basically, do you still want a price prediction? So she says, okay, let's account for all the banks globally. Then the XRP that's been burnt, the XRP we hold, and the XRP that has been given to creators. Her guess is 50 to 75 billion XRP. Let's stop right there. And this is where straight away, this whole price prediction thing just goes up in the air. She said it's her guess. You don't know how accurate that guess is. It's a guess. You've got no idea, right? Like, you're literally guessing. So you could be close, or you could be way off completely. And if you're way off, your whole price prediction just goes out the window because you don't know how accurate that guess is. So straight away, as soon as you hear that, to be honest, you shouldn't really be giving this price prediction any kind of weight whatsoever, because there's no calculation to come to this kind of conclusion. She's just literally making a guess. She's plucking a number out of thin air. Now, don't get me wrong, my guess is that maybe she's making an educated guess, so I'll give her that, but a guess is still a guess. So as soon as I hear that, I'm like, well, why am I even going to listen to this at this point? Like, why am I even going to take this in when you're literally just guessing? I don't know how accurate this is. So that just throws the whole thing into the garbage straight away for me personally. So I think at this point, really, people should have just switched off, to be honest. Okay, so we then move on, and she talks about basically thinking that she thinks that content creators are right in regards to it being like a flip the switch moment. We've heard this how many times, guys? I've told you before, it's not, in my opinion, going to be a flip the switch moment. I don't agree with that. I know we've heard that term before with XRP. I don't think it's what people think it is at all. I don't think it's going to be this magical switch that gets flipped and then all of a sudden XRP just rises up to like $10,000. I just don't think that's going to be the case, guys. I've explained why at length, to be honest with you, so feel free to like check out my content, but no, it's not going to be a thing where all of a sudden every bank in the world just starts using XRP at once. Because first and foremost, XRP and Ripple already have like partnerships. There's already partnerships with Ripple of people who are using XRP right now for cross-border payments. So if it was going to be a flip of the switch, why is the banks that are currently using it and banks that are currently not using it? Right? Like, we already know that. And then just to add to that, right? Like, there was a space not long ago, and David Schwartz had talked about XRP and cross-border payments, and he literally said, in his own words, he said, cross-border payments hasn't been as successful as they hoped. It's not gained as much traction as they hoped. So we know this hasn't gone as well as they would want it to go. Now, does that mean that it's not going to be successful in the future? No, not at all. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe the lawsuit had obviously stifled a lot of their potential partnerships. So I'm not trying to say that this means it's a failure, but the point that I'm making is the way she's talking is like all these banks were going to, just start using it at once. No. This is a thing where they have to gradually get partnerships over time and keep building and adding to their value, the XRP's value. So this completely, I'm just like, no, that's not correct at all. Then the next thing that she says is that she thinks there's been an evaluation for XRP like gold. So again, she thinks it's going to be like going to like a set price, like with gold, like just fix it at a price. Guys, again, I've got a video going into this at length in regards to why XRP is not going to be pegged to gold. It can't be pegged to gold. It literally can't. So I'm not even going to go into that too much because I've already discussed that before. Again, if you want to check it out on my channel, I've got a video about it. It's going to be a bit long to get into right now, but it's actually not possible for XRP to be pegged to gold because XRP supply is finite. So straight away, that just makes it not possible to do this. So I'm not going to get any deeper in it. If you want to watch the video, it is on my channel, so just have a look for it and you can watch it there. But yeah, that's straight away, again, not going to happen. And then she was pretty much finished with, this is what she thinks that Rosie Rios meant when she said that the train has left the station. So one of her quotes that she said, and at the end she said, I hope this ages well. Well, this has aged like cheese in a microwave for like 30 seconds. Not aged well at all. Yeah, so look. I've already said about the gold. Rosie Rios saying the train has left the station. No, that wasn't in regards to saying that XRP is just going to blow up to this amazing, incredible price. No, not at all. It didn't mean that whatsoever. I mean, even when she made that quote, the price of XRP at that point was still under $1 at the time. So how could the train have left the station if we can still go and buy XRP at that time? Right? So people like hear these words, these buzzwords like flip the switch, train left the station, you know what I mean? Like gold evaluation, and it sounds great. But when you just start to understand how XRP works and all this kind of stuff, you just see a lot of this is just, it sounds fancy, but there's nothing to it whatsoever. It's really ludicrous, some of the things that are being said and some of the things that are being believed. And look, like, I'm not here to knock people because each to their own. If they want to believe this kind of stuff, that's fine. But if you do just do some real like research, honestly, you will see that a lot of this stuff is just not realistic. It's just not. It's really just not realistic. And so, you know, when I got to the end of this, I was just like, yeah. Like I say, I took no level of weight in it whatsoever. This is actually an old post, but I've only seen it now, and the reason being is because someone's wanted to call her out on it because obviously it was clearly inaccurate. Oh, I forgot to say, her prediction was basically between $100 to $500, and that was going to be we've got like a week left. We basically got a week left, and this is why it's come back now, because a lot of people are giving her criticism because clearly her prediction was wrong. Now, this is my thing that I will say, right? If this is what she truly believed in her heart and she genuinely believed that, then you know what? What can we say? If that's what she genuinely felt, okay, she's just turned out to be wrong. Like, everybody can be wrong about something. So I don't want to knock her in that way if she truly believed it. But I'll be honest, in this space, specifically regarding XRP, because there's all this like hype around it and like these mad theories, a lot of people do just use XRP to try and get a name for themselves. They do. Like, some people are just posting stuff that they don't even believe because they know it gets attention. This post got 1.8 million views. So you can imagine what this has done for her. Right? And so it's so easy to just jump onto XRP. And I see all the real buzzwords here that people would want to use to try and get people's ears and people's interests. You know what I mean? Like, clearly jumping on some of the things that a lot of people and influencers talk about. So if this was her genuine belief, then hey, she believed it and she was just wrong. It is what it is. But as I say, like, as we go through some of the things that she's saying, it's so easy to just poke holes in the stuff that she's saying. So that's where I'm like, well, did you believe this, or was you just writing up a load of nonsense to get attention? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm not going to judge one way or the other. But even if it was something that she genuinely believed, like, all I would say is just do some more research, because it's so easy to like look at the stuff that XRP can do and what the technology is and be able to look at this and think, what I've written here just doesn't make sense. A lot of the stuff that I'm writing here doesn't make sense. So, you know, I'll leave it at that, because I just think when it comes to this kind of stuff, like, and this is why I just say to you guys, like, this is just my, you know, word of caution here. Just be careful of who you listen to within the space. I've told this before, but I did do a few videos in the very early stages of my channel about, influencers just using hype to get attention and money and stuff like that. I never released them because I was just so early in my channel that I just felt like it was just going to destroy my channel because people were just so like committed to these people. And so they will get defensive. Like I've seen it before. I mean, maybe now I'm a bit of a bigger channel. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still tiny, but like maybe I've got a bit more of a voice, or maybe I may drop a video about that kind of stuff more in depth at some point in the future. But like, there are people who are just using you to get views, likes, money, whatever. Like that is just the case, unfortunately. Not everybody's got a genuine side to them and are trying to genuinely educate you. Some people are just trying to use you to get money ultimately. So just be careful who you listen to. There's a lot of stuff here that can, really, get you excited if you don't really understand what you're invested in. So there's clearly pitfalls here. So yeah, that's just my word of warning to you guys. But what do you guys think? Shannon Forbes' $500 XRP theory. Do you agree with Shannon's theory? Do you still think that XRP could go to $500 within the next week? Do you think that XRP could potentially go higher than this within the next week? Or do you not agree with this? Do you think Shannon Forbes' theory is completely incorrect and there are many holes in the theory as I've suggested? Or do you not think that XRP can actually just get to this kind of price at the moment and we need to wait for the next bull run? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'd be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.